blaster fire streaks across the ash-gray skies of Saleucami. Obi-Wan Kenobi vaults over a crumpling rampart, his lightsaber a blue scythe in the twilight, as Captain Rex and the 501st push the droid lines back into the ruins of a burning refinery town. At the far end of the trench, Anakin Skywalker finishes the last of Grievous's IG-100 Magna Guards with a single furious strike. His chest heaving, his eyes hard as cut glass. Victory. Another world liberated, another planet saved from the Separatists, another Republic banner raised over another burning city. And yet, as the smoke clears and the clones begin the grim work of sorting the living from the dead, Obi-Wan turns to his former Padawan with a look that carries no relief at all. "Anakin," he murmurs, watching a Republic shuttle descend with the seal of the Chancellor's office emblazoned on its hull. "That's the 4th system this month. The 4th." Anakin tilts his head. "The 4th what, Master?" "The 4th liberated world placed under direct Chancellery administration before the inks dry on the surrender." A pause, a silence that says more than the words do. Back on Coruscant, in the vaulted chamber of the Jedi High Council, that silence is given voice. Mace Windu lays a datapad before Yoda, Plo Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and the others. Deployment records, troop movements, war budgets routed through emergency decrees, strategic victories that, somehow, always seem to land in ways that consolidate the Supreme Chancellor's grip on the Senate. "These are not coincidences," Windu says. His voice is low, but the words fall like Durasteel. "Every major offensive, every emergency measure, every senator silenced beneath the fog of war. A pattern, Masters. A pattern with one beneficiary." Yoda closes his eyes. He has felt it too. The shadow has grown long over the Republic, and deep in his bones, older than the wars, older than the Jedi themselves, the ancient master senses something monstrous stirring behind the smile of Sheev Palpatine. The question is no longer whether they have been deceived. The question is what they mean to do about it. While the Jedi convene in shadow, another war is being fought in chambers of marble and glass. Padmé Amidala stands before a holographic spread of legislative records, her face pale in the blue light. Beside her, Bail Organa of Alderaan and Mon Mothma of Chandrila lean in, their brows furrowed. They have traced the threads of every emergency power granted since the first Battle of Geonosis, and the tapestry they have uncovered is terrifying. What began as a temporary act to meet the Separatist threat has metastasized into something else entirely. Regional governors appointed by Palpatine now only answer to Palpatine. Oversight committees once chaired by elected senators have been quietly dissolved, their authority absorbed into the Chancellor's office. The amendments that were supposed to sunset after 6 months have been extended, renewed, and expanded. One vote at a time, each vote taken under the shadow of another crisis, each crisis more convenient than the last. "He doesn't need to abolish the Senate," Padmé whispers. "He's already rendered it ornamental." Mon Mothma shakes her head, fierce with that cold Chandrilan fire. "Then we rally our colleagues. There are senators who still believe democracy is worth saving. We must find them. We must gather them." But Padmé is not yet convinced, because she has noticed what the others have missed. The amendments are not merely political. They are structural. They reach into the Grand Army itself, into the chain of command of the clone troopers, into protocols buried beneath layers of classification that no senator, not even a member of the Military Oversight Committee, was ever intended to see. And when she traces those protocols back to their source, she finds a name she has not heard in years: Kamino, and a designation she has never heard at all: Order 65. Enjoying our alternative Star Wars universe? Consider liking and hitting the hype button to show us your support. Don't forget to subscribe for more mind-bending tales from the Star Wars universe. The breakthrough comes from an unexpected quarter. On a cold observation deck above the storm-lashed waves of Tipoca City, Jedi Master Shaak Ti stands beside Kaminoan Prime Minister Lama Su. As the Jedi Overseer of clone training, Shaak Ti has always suspected that the Kaminoans withheld as much as they revealed. Tonight, she has come with questions that will not be deflected. "The contingency orders," she says evenly. "All of them. I want to see every protocol embedded in the training of the Grand Army. Lama Su's long neck arches with the smallest trace of displeasure. These are matters, he reminds her, of Republic security clearance, arranged long ago between the late Master Sifu Diaz and the office of the Supreme Chancellor. But Shaak Ti is a Jedi of the High Council, and she does not ask twice. What she reads freezes the blood in her veins. 150 standing orders, protocols for every conceivable emergency, invasion, mutiny, the death of a Jedi general, the fall of the capital. And among them, a protocol that has never appeared in any briefing ever given to the Jedi. Not once in 3 years of war. Contingency Order 65. In the event that the Supreme Chancellor, known as the Supreme Chancellor of the Republic, issues orders that do not fall within defined legal boundaries or that violate the moral foundation of the Republic itself, the Jedi Council is authorized and charged to remove the Supreme Chancellor from office, by force if necessary. Shaak Ti reads it twice. A third time, the words do not change. A sword, hidden in plain sight, forged into the very bones of the army that serves the Chancellor. A sword the Jedi have never been told they possess. And she wonders, even as she commits the words to memory, if they did not know of it, who did? The Jedi High Council has not assembled in full since the beginning of the Outer Rim sieges. Tonight, in defiance of war and distance, it does. Obi-Wan sits beside Anakin, who has been admitted to the chamber not as a master, for the Council still withholds the title, but as the Chancellor's personal representative, an honor he did not ask for and which all present understood to be a leash. Yoda, ancient and weary, Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, Ki Adimundi, Saci Teen, Stas Ali, Aegon Kolar, a chamber half empty because half its members are dying on distant fronts. Shaak Ti's findings are laid bare. Mace Windu rises. "We have been handed a weapon," he says quietly. "Perhaps the only weapon in this galaxy that Sidious did not place in our hands himself. Order 65 was written for exactly this moment. A Chancellor who has slipped the bonds of law. A servant of the dark side who wears the face of the Republic." Yoda's ears lower. "Premature, this is. Evidence we have. Yes. Proof. No. Arrest the Chancellor, and the Senate will rise against us." "Then we make them rise against him," Windu answers. "We take him into custody under the legal authority of Order 65. We present our evidence to the full Senate. Padmé Amidala, Bail Organa, Mon Mothma. They will carry the case on the floor. If democracy still breathes in that chamber, it will breathe with us." It is Ki Adimundi who asks the question that haunts every face in the room. "And if democracy does not breathe?" Windu's jaw tightens. "Then we have already lost, and this is our last chance to know it." The council sits in silence. One by one, hands rise in favor. Even Yoda at last bows his head. "See this through to the end, we must. But walk the knife's edge, we will. A misstep, and the darkness takes us all." Only Anakin does not raise his hand. He stares at the floor and says nothing at all. Palpatine is waiting for him, of course. He always is. The Chancellor stands at his broad window, looking out at the eternal river of sky speeders. He does not turn when Anakin enters. He does not need to. He already knows. "Anakin, my boy," he says warmly. "You seem troubled. Come, sit. Tell me what weighs on you." And Anakin, who has knelt before this man since he was 9 years old, who has taken counsel here when the Jedi Council offered only cold judgment, who poured out his grief over his mother's death in this very room, Anakin hesitates, because he has come to warn him, and because he has also come, perhaps, to betray him, and he is not yet certain which. "They don't trust you," Anakin says at last. "The Council, they believe you mean to seize the Republic." Palpatine turns, and his face is a masterwork of sorrowful surprise. "Do they? After all I have given? After every son I have sent to die in their war? Anakin, if the Jedi move against me, they move against the Republic. You know this." And then, more softly, And you? Where do you stand, my friend? Anakin does not answer. He cannot. That night, he turns to Padmé's apartment and finds her wide awake. Datapads scattered across her table, her hair loose, her eyes rimmed with exhaustion. She tells him what she has found: the emergency powers, the hollowing of the Senate, the quiet coup that has already happened in all but name. She begs him to stand with her, with Bail, with the Council. And Anakin, who loves her more than breath, who serves Palpatine like a father, who was raised by Jedi who never quite believed him, Anakin looks at her and feels the galaxy tearing itself in half inside his chest. Whatever they do, he tells her finally, I cannot be a part of it. It is not a yes. It is not a no. It is the sound of a man breaking in two. The hour is chosen for its symbolism as much as its strategy. An emergency session of the Senate, convened to address the Outer Rim sieges. Bail Organa will have the floor. Mon Mothma and Padmé have whispered the truth into enough ears that a vote of no confidence is no longer fantasy. And in the Chancellor's office, 4 Jedi Masters, Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, Aegon Kolar, and Shaak Ti arrive to take Sheev Palpatine into custody. But Sidious has not survived a millennium of Sith patience to be caught unprepared. He greets them rising from his chair, and in his hand is already a crimson blade. Aegon Kolar dies in the first exchange, Shaak Ti in the second, Kit Fisto on the third. Only Windu stands when the duel spills onto the veranda. Only Windu, and only just. But the trap is deeper than one office, and deeper than one duel. On the Senate floor, Bail Organa rises to call for the vote, and the doors seal. Commander Fox and the Coruscant Guard, loyal to the Chancellor by every instinct burned into their marrow, move to lock down the chamber. Mace Windu, lifelong functionary of Palpatine, declares the session suspended under emergency authority. Senators shout. Padmé screams Bail's name. Blasters lower. And across the city, the battalions the Council has quietly placed on standby to secure the Senate Rotunda, to reinforce Bail's votes with the authority of the Grand Army itself, and to arrest any senator who resisted the lawful invocation of Order 65, go silent. Their comms darken. Their orders do not come. Because the Council has underestimated something very simple and very terrible. That contingency orders written into the soul of an army can be overridden, quietly, by the one man who commands that army's biological conditioning. The inhibitor chips in every clone's skull do not care about Order 65. They only wait for Order 66. In the Chancellor's veranda, Mace Windu stands over a man he believes he has finally beaten, lightning arcing from Palpatine's twisted fingers, the entire galaxy narrowed to the point of a purple blade. And behind him, Anakin Skywalker steps through the door. It happens exactly as it was always going to happen. Anakin's blade takes Windu's hand. Palpatine's lightning takes Windu's life. The body falls into the endless light of Coruscant, and with it falls any chance of stopping what comes next. But Sidious has been preparing the scene for longer than Anakin Skywalker has been alive. And now, he plays it not for the private audience of one grieving knight, but for the entire galaxy. By dawn, every HoloNet channel from the core to the Outer Rim broadcasts the Chancellor's trembling voice. The Jedi, he says, attempted a coup. They invoked a secret clause, Order 65, a weapon they had hidden from the Senate, from the clones, from the Republic they swore to defend. They murdered 4 of his personal security. They tried to murder him. He offers the recordings as proof. He offers the bodies as proof. He offers, at last, his own scarred and lightning-ravaged face as proof. And the Senate, frightened, leaderless, drowning in emergency, believes him, or pretends to. It hardly matters which. Bail Organa is placed under house arrest on Coruscant. Mon Mothma flees the capital within the hour, vanishing into the back channels of the delegation she has been quietly building for months. Padmé Amidala, recognized now as a known associate of the Jedi and the wife of General Skywalker, for Palpatine has always known and has always kept the knowledge in reserve, is detained for her own protection in the Chancellor's private wing. When Anakin, stricken and hollow-eyed, is told, the Chancellor lays a withered hand upon his shoulder and murmurs that she is safer beneath his own roof than in any Jedi safe house. Safer from the vengeance of a council that now has every reason to punish her for her husband's choice. And Anakin, who can no longer tell the difference between love and obedience, believes him. The Jedi have been defeated. They have been convicted. Anakin kneels in the shadow of a throne. He did not want this. He tells himself he did not want this. He wanted Padmé to live. He wanted the Jedi to stop hurting him. He wanted someone, anyone, to look at him without suspicion and see a son. Palpatine has given him all three, and asked only for his soul in exchange. "The Jedi moved against the Republic," Sidious whispers, and his voice is no longer trembling, no longer grandfatherly. It is ancient and cold and almost joyful. "You saw it yourself. They would have killed me. They would have killed her. Only you stood between us and oblivion." Anakin's eyes are glassy. His mind is a wound. "What must I do?" "What you were always going to do, Lord Vader," Sidious murmurs, and lays a withered hand upon his head as if in benediction. "Go to the temple. End this, and all of them, and save her." In the corridors above, Padmé Amidala beats her fist against a sealed door and screams a name that no longer belongs to the man who wears it. On 10,000 worlds, the command is given. It is the same command it was always going to be. The chips were always going to wake. The brothers were always going to turn on the generals they loved. But this time, they do not do it in silence. This time, it is broadcast. This time, it is explained. "The Jedi have attempted to seize control of the Republic by force. They invoked a hidden military protocol, Order 65, to murder your Chancellor. Their treason is confirmed. Execute Order 66. And across the galaxy, clones who had adored their Jedi, who had bled beside them, who had wept for them at 1,000 funerals, raised their rifles without a tremor. Because the chip does the work. Because the Chancellor's words give them the lie they need to live with what they are about to do. Plo Koon falls from the skies of Cato Naimoida. Aayla Secura falls in the jungles of Felucia. Ki Adimundi falls in Megiddo. Stas Ali falls on Salukami. And Yoda on Kashyyyk feels every one of them die in a single suffocating instant. He knows, for the first time in 900 years, what it is to be truly alone. He slips the garrote that Commander Gree tightens around him, carves his way to an escape pod with Chewbacca and Tarful at his side, and sets course for Coruscant. For he means, even now, to finish what Mace Windu began. But by the time his shuttle breaches the capital's atmosphere, Palpatine is already before the Senate, the Jedi already condemned as the conspirators of Order 65, and the ancient master understands, with the grief that bows his small shoulders, that a lightsaber cannot kill a lie the galaxy has already chosen to believe. He turns toward the swamps of Dagobah and the exile that will last his final days. And at the temple, a figure in black robes ascends the steps at the heads of the 501st Legion, and he does not hesitate, not once. The Republic dies not to a blaster shot, but to a standing ovation. Palpatine stands before the Senate and declares an empire, and the galaxy cheers, because he has given them a villain they can name: the Jedi, the betrayers, the conspirators of Order 65. It was never about the clones being a trap. It was about the trap having two jaws, and the Jedi, in reaching for the one that might have saved them, closed the other on their own throats. The smoke of the Jedi Temple rises into the Coruscant dusk. In a gilded chamber deep within the Chancellor's private wing, Padmé Amidala weeps for a man who is still alive. Obi-Wan Kenobi, hidden in the rafters of a shattered sanctum, watches the holograms of the younglings and reaches, one last time, for a force that has gone terribly quiet. Yoda stands on a rainy hilltop on Dagobah and whispers a word that sounds like failure. And somewhere in the machinery of the Empire, A young man who was once Anakin Skywalker stares at his own reflection and wonders what color his eyes have become. This is the history Palpatine wrote. If you enjoy this journey into an alternative Star Wars universe where destiny takes unexpected turns and balance means something entirely different, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We explore the infinite possibilities hidden within the galaxy far, far away, asking the questions that reshape everything you thought you knew. The Force has many paths. Come discover them with us.